What does it take to reach Grandmaster? Game sense, positioning, and mechanics. These are the pillars of Overwatch, and to reach GM, you have to be really good at one of them and be average at the other two. This is what makes Overwatch difficult to any player who's not in the upper echelon of players, because no game has ever combined all three to the degree and relative balance of these pillars like Overwatch has. But the true answer is practice and a strong mental. This is my advice for players trying to improve at Overwatch. In order to learn, you need to expose yourself to a concept and practice until it has become second nature. This is something that you may have heard before. It's called System 1 and System 2 thinking. System 1 acts without thinking. System 2 thinks, but because it is slow, the action has a lag to it. It's the difference between me saying, imagine a flower, and your brain immediately conjures up a flower, versus doing long division in your head where that's System 2, it takes a little bit longer and yeah, you can't really figure it out immediately. The issue most players face is that they may have the knowledge, but because they haven't spent the time to harness that knowledge and create good habits, their instincts or System 1 thinking makes the wrong choice. So this is how you properly set goals. You set a long-term goal, something that is seemingly impossible at the moment. If you're a gold player wanting to reach Diamond, or a Diamond player aiming for Grandmaster, those are your long-term goals. From there, you set short-term goals. In terms of Overwatch, you are most likely looking for specific concepts relating to the game, but it can also be mechanics-based, like wrecking ball attacks as an example, or just getting better aim. To me, the most important things, the most foundational things are proficiency with your hero, reading composition strengths and weaknesses, and positional setups. Those are the primary things I would look into if you're in the metal ranks. But even as a high rank player, sometimes you can forget some of these concepts and don't fully understand these concepts, and you might be held back by that. Now, a lot of what I've learned came from other better players and basically being like, monkey see, monkey do. Again, very good tip if you're a new player. But one trick that I still use to this day is taking a sticky note and write down one or two things that I want to work on. The reason I did this was so I could always remind myself of what I'm working on, and so I didn't go into airplane mode very often. Some of the notes I've used before can be as simple as why death, to think about the reason why I died, or alt track to remind me to do this action and make a strategy for how we should approach the next team fight with our ultimates. I think with these short-term goals, you can also include a time limit, and it's not necessarily something that you have to master in that time. It means that if you practice this for, let's say, a week, then you can move on to the next thing, assuming that you have learned that concept. It's very important to remind yourself of these goals, to constantly drill the concept into your head, but also to motivate you. Whenever you are in the process of learning, your performance is likely going to drop. That is tilting. Your teammates are going to insult you. That is also tilting. I once climbed to Diamond and later went back to Platinum for another month. That was really tilting. The more you can be resilient or shake off those negative thoughts and remind yourself that this is a learning process, the better the experience will be. The only thing that you can control is yourself. So do the best you can and don't worry about those comments that try to knock you down. Whatever your goals are, remember, this is a game. A lot of people may not be as intrinsically motivated as I am, which means I embrace the challenge. But if at the root of it, you're not having fun, leave the room for fun. Like, do something else. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. You can always be competitive while also having fun. Now, what you're watching right now is one of my Grandmaster games, and I've noticed quite a few mistakes on my part. Unfortunately, I didn't record my reaction because I didn't really expect it, but nonetheless, we hit GM. 2.5 years ago, I started as a console player from Silver, and I would say the hardest part about climbing is the time I didn't have to get my practice in and learn through experience. Sometimes I would go a week without practice, and then you go through the cycle of my mechanics are off, I have to get used to the flow of Overwatch, etc. Right now, climbing is easier than ever because the OGs had years of experience while new players are either washed or it's their first time playing. But for me, who basically skipped Season 1, so I had little experience with the 5v5 format and hero changes, despite my prior experience, I was stuck in Masters for the longest time. The point I'm making is that if you can't dedicate the time to play the game, with the odds that you're going to lose 50% of the time, how you view the playing experience becomes really important. That's why I say you should have fun with the game. The less you care about your rank and the more you focus on improving and learning, that's what really matters. Alright, that's it for me. I'll see you when I see you. Peace.